looked at me. He's like, what are you going to do now, bro? And without hesitation, I was like, I think I have to check myself in somewhere. And a lot of people have been waiting for that.
Hi, dog lovers. Welcome back to Rescued by a Dog, the podcast about dogs that have actually saved their owners' lives. I am Laura, host of the podcast, and again, I need your help. Can you give just $5 to help keep Rescued by a Dog going? There are two super easy ways to do this. First, you could Venmo me $5 or whatever amount you want to send at the handle Laurabama. That's Laura, B as in boy, A, M as in mother, A. Or you can go to patreon.com/Rescued by a Dog podcast. Again, that's Patreon spelled Patreon. So patreon.com/Rescued by a Dog podcast. When you join the Rescued by a Dog community on Patreon, your $5 per month will help me continue to share these incredible, uplifting stories. Today, you're going to hear from James, who was unemployed and recovering in a sober living home when he met a pit bull named Blue. Please bear with the audio quality. I reached James while he was on the road in his long-haul truck with Blue at his side. We are recording. Okay, hi James. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, why don't we start out by having you tell me the name of the dog that we're going to talk about today and what do they look like?
So his name is Blue, B-L-U. But yeah, he looks like a blue. He acts like a blue. He is a blue. It's blue, you know.
So does that mean he's a blue pitty?
He is. And when they rescued him, they thought he was about 3 or 3.5 years old. And I've had him for almost a year now. So I'd say he's like 4 with a whole lot of puppy in him, though. When he plays, it's like he's just a little puppy. It's cool.
Why don't you tell me how you came to know Blue and what was going on in your life?
So I'm an over-the-road trucker. And around this time last year, I had come in off of a long haul. I was out there for about 4 or 5 weeks. And my fiance and I had decided that we had grown apart. You know, being a long-haul trucker isn't easy. It's not an easy lifestyle. It's not easy for the other person waiting on your return, you know. And I don't know, we grew apart. I'll just put it gingerly, you know. And I made a decision to leave and give her the house. I had 2 rescue cats, Oliver and Otis. I left them behind, and my service dog, Oakley, actually was a registered service dog / my trucking dog. Because he was a rescue, I had decided to leave him in the home with her as well. You know, I didn't want to be selfish. You know, it was terrible. It was.
Yeah.
I'm in recovery. Going into my 9th year in recovery, and it was probably one of the most challenging times in my recovery for sure. I am an open book. I actually wound up in a psych ward for 2 months because I have mental health. I have real mental health, and I wasn't on my mental health medication while I was out there trucking, and that had actually set me on a small manic spiral. I had a big old Dodge Ram dually at the time, big old dually truck, 1-ton truck, and I was actually sleeping in that, and I was okay with it. It's different than having a semi-truck, but those Dodge Ram dualies are designed to actually have a small sleeper in the back of them. So it wasn't horrible, you know what I mean? But that's where my life was at. And I was headed out west. I was a little past Vero Beach, and I had a sensor go off of my truck saying that something was fixing to go wrong. I drove more than 90-something plus miles, that my engine was going to cease. I honestly think that was God's divine intervention, for sure. I went to a Dodge Ram. They said they couldn't look at my truck. I was manic. I'm like, but you have to see me now. And he's like, bro, I can't see you for like 3 weeks. And I had exhausted all my good ideas. And I called somebody in West Palm. And I was like, yo, bro, I was like, my truck's down. And I was like, I can't go out to California. He was like, James, where are you at right now? I was like, I'm in a parking lot in between a Dodge and a Wendy's. He's like, I'm shutting down my job. He's like, I'll be right there. He comes and picks me up. I dropped the truck off, fully loaded with all my possessions, fully loaded. Dropped it off at a decent mechanic, packed up a backpack. I don't know I didn't, at the time, didn't know what the backpack was for. I just know I needed some of my stuff. And I gave him his vehicle, and he looked at me, he's like, what are you going to do now, bro? And without hesitation, I was like, I think I have to check myself in somewhere. It's like, yeah. Good answer. A good answer. And a lot of people have been waiting for that. The short of the long is, I got out and I was in I had moved into a sober living environment. I was asked to help manage a property that held 16 men. And I was trying to just heal and not dive back in, but I was just trying to take myself out of self. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. Blue was in one of the houses that the gentleman has. And I had started off in that house. I believe I was there for about a week and a half, and Blue was in that house. So,
and how did he end up there?
Well, there was a treatment van. Go figure, it was a van full of recovering addicts that seen Blue on the side of the road. And they were headed to a meeting or something. And the detective was driving the van, decided to pull over, and she actually was the one that wound up taking Blue in her home. Couldn't keep him, but nursed him back to health for 4 months. So that's when she reached out to the gentleman where I was managing at. She was like, I have this dog, and I know you have all those guys over there. I know we'll get all the love in the world, but I just can't keep them. So I met him, and he kind of took to me immediately, and I was all he had in that setting. He was kind of out of sorts. I was definitely out of sorts, living in somewhat of an institutional setting, again, you know what I mean? Structured environment, I'll say. But Blue was there, and I wasn't working. And I was just trying to figure out what I was doing, damn it. And I don't know, life was going on. Blue was still over at that house, at that sober living house. Mind you, I had made a transition over to those apartments that I was asked to manage. And I had noticed that 2 of the men had moved over to these apartments now within this transition. And I had this thought. I'm like, wait a minute. The only 2 freaking guys that even know Blue are here. I'm like, who the hell is taking care of Blue right now? And he's in an environment now where he doesn't know any of the guys. There's guys in the house, but Blue don't know them. He knew who was with me at this point. You know what I mean? I called the guy that rescued him, and I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, I'm going over to that house. And I was like, and I'm grabbing Blue. And he's like, oh, yeah, go get Blue. I got in my car, I went over there, scooped up his toys, scooped up his bed, took him to my apartment. And that's when I just really started connecting with Blue. I started letting him in. I started teaching him how to play. He didn't know how to play at all. He didn't know how to tug with me. No one ever did that stuff with him. And he loves tugging. I'll tell you, he's probably one of the strongest dogs I've ever personally played with. He has a lot of strength in him. And he just doesn't give up on the tug. That's for sure. He'll tug 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I won't give up either, but he will not give up.
Did you have any issues adjusting to each other when you started living together?
No. No, he's also a cuddler, too, from being a halfway house dog. He's like, when he comes to lays in bed with me, he lets out like a really long sigh. But it's a grateful one though. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of air that comes out of his big old body, but he's just a grateful dog. It's just like he's at peace. But I get that sigh often. But as I was starting to heal and I started entertaining the thought of getting back in the semi-truck or believing that, I healed enough to where I could mentally get back in the semi-truck. I also know I had a good trucking dog because he loves taking rides. He never even from the first jump up in this big semi-truck, he hopped up in this thing like he had hopped up in 10 of them before. And I don't know what story he may have. I have no idea. We live in here. It's like this is a small condo cab, and it's set up like a very, 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 very small apartment. I have a beautiful blanket laid out on the floor for him. His bowls are back there. He's up in the sleeper berth right now. All his toys are laid on the bunk. You know what I mean? Like he knows what time it is right now. He's spoiled. He gets to see the United States, and like I pick rest areas over top of truck stops any day. I'll sacrifice a shower. If I haven't showered, but there's a rest area wide open with a big-ass field for him to run in and go frolicking and play and stuff, that's what I do. You know, like, I make it about him out here. He loves it.
How are you different now than you were before you met him?
I mean, there's like a slight glow to me. I see life again. I didn't see it last year getting out of that place, especially after being in there for so long. But there's hope, you know. Like, I have my own LLC. I never thought I'd be turning wheels on my LLC again. But I learned out here that, like, things happen, people grow apart. Life is going to be life, man. But you just got to keep going, and you just have to. Just like these animals that we get for such a short amount of time, us as humans, we have such a short amount of time too, man. These past few days, it's just been so peaceful. I'm content. I'm very content. I knew that we could come out here and do this together. I wouldn't be able to do this without him. Could I do it without him? I could, but it would be painful. I mean, he makes me laugh out here. I cried to him out here. He's licked tears off my face out here. Like, could I? Sure, I have a rough life. There's a lot. I've survived 100% of my struggles. I would get through it. I need him out here. I don't want him out here. I need him out here. I was just like laying back there in that bunk, and like my legs are scissored, they're wide open. The bunk's not that big, you know, and I'm 6'3", you know, but they're wide open. He lays right in between that, and, you know, he's licking his paws or licking my leg if my sweat pan is up, whatever it is he's doing. It just gives me these looks sometimes, and he just like really gazes at me. I'll look back in the bunk to see what he's doing, and his little chin is laying a little forward of the mattress, kind of just sagging down a little bit, and he's just watching me drive. We're looking out the big old windshield and watching me drive. That's all that he's doing. He's just content being with me. He's chilling. He gives me those belly laughs where, like, I'm literally like laughing. Oh, like, I have tears coming out of my eyes sometimes. It's funny how we can go from being on the interstate, and then when I set the air brakes, he definitely jumps up out of his sleeper and comes up front because he knows when I'm done fueling, I'm going to put him on the leash, and it might not be the longest walk, but he gets a small walk every time this truck is stopped. This dog goes on more walks than dogs do at regular houses, for sure. There's so many different smells and different wildlife and deer droppings and fox droppings. I mean, his sniffer is just everywhere.
If Blue could understand human English, what would you like to say to him?
I tell him all the time that I love him. I think he knows what I'm saying. I couldn't figure this out without you, buddy, and I tell him that all the time. You know what I mean? And I say thank you to him all the time. I whisper in his ear when we're going to sleep at nighttime. I probably say every night, thank you for coming out here with me. That's what I say to him. Thank you.